Alrighty, what is up, guys? Welcome back. Evan Aldo here. I am on the road. I'm in Singapore right now for Token 2049. Wanted to give you an update on the markets. There's quite a bit to talk about right now. Just wanted to, over on JUMPEX, these are two trades that I've been in. I'm not going to tell you where I'm taking profits or where my stop losses are. Been a slow market. I mean, I've been in these trades for a while. Details more on them if you're interested in the take profits, stop losses. That's in the Discord down below. It's the first link down below. So yeah, market's been slow. Hopefully we're jumping up right now. We got the FOMC meeting. I mean, I'm in 8 Singapore time, so it's 10:25 p.m. where I am right now on Tuesday. So if you're, in the US, it's about 12 hours earlier. So, I'm trying to think, okay, so we got about a day until we find out the exact, where things are going to go in terms of the Fed. Is it going to be 25 basis points? Is it going to be 50? It's hard to predict what the market will do in terms of these things. So, like I like to say a lot of times, don't worry too much about the news. Just follow your strategy on the charts. Sometimes the news will, make you get stopped out. Sometimes it will coincide with the charts and you'll do well. Obviously, you don't need to be right 100% of the time to make money in this game. It's all about following a strategy and using good risk management over time. So yeah, and if you guys are interested in one free month in the Discord where you see the trade entry points, stop losses, take profits, I tag everybody when I enter them. The link, if you sign up to any of the exchanges down below, BloFin right here, and deposit at least $100, I'll give you one free month. Just open a support ticket with your UID and the exchange you signed up for. So you get 10% cash back only my link. First 100 people only. Max cap of a $2,000 bonus. That's pretty good. If you deposit, for example, 10K, you get a $1,000 bonus to trade with. So yeah, you can check this out. It ends in about 5 days here. JUMPEX is essentially fair to us. They started a second exchange. Some good deposit bonuses if you guys are interested. The link is down below for that as well. And then the Bybit airdrop, this ends in 1 day and 9 hours. You only have to deposit $100 to be eligible to get a really good offer in terms of a $500 airdrop to trade with here. So check these out if you guys are interested. Let's get into the analysis right here. So essentially, the first thing that I want to look at, just for a little short term, is the thing that I'm kind of very basic traditional TA here over on Bitcoin. Essentially, you got this guy, and you got this guy. It's a reverse head and shoulders. A little subjective. I look at much more than just a reverse head and shoulders, but you got a good shot at, I think, getting up to at least this linear spiral line, this trend line over here at around 65.7. If you can break above that, you may be looking at the big area of like high 60Ks again, which could absolutely be possible here. And when you look at, just wanted to show you guys, believe it's, yeah, so if you look at the liquidation heat map, I know CryptoFace has been looking at a lot. I think it's a good tool to look at once in a while, at least. 61K, there's a lot of liquidations here. I'm still getting the hang of it. I've stopped looking at these liquidation maps for a minute, but come on. Obviously, like I said, 61K is pretty big, and then you got some more over here at 65. So, I mean, there's liquidations on the way down too, but the biggest place that we're looking at for liquidations is going to be 61.2. That's where a lot of liquidity is going to be moved around. So I think that supports that case. If you look at funding rates, as well, where are funding rates? Let's see, crypto funding rates still generally pretty low, which would adhere to the bullish case. They're really low over on, or really negative over on JUMPEX right here. And then if you look at AVAX, like that's a low one. That's a really low one, or a really negative one, pretty negative. They're getting a little bit more positive now. People are opening longs as this is jumping up, but I think we might have quite a bit more left in us. We might have quite a bit more left in us too. And I think, the last thing I want to show you other than the charts here, 67% odds, 33% odds, 67% odds of a 50 basis point decrease, which is going to be significant. And I think that will fuel, come on here, this isn't loading, but I wanted to see if it updated. But anyway, it's probably still around 60, high 60s. That could absolutely fuel what could be seen as some alts trying to jump back up. Others versus Bitcoin, everything out of the top 10 market cap versus Bitcoin. Looking beautiful here on the 2-week money flow coming up. Bull div potentially jumping upward if we do see that 50 basis point rate cut here. And yeah, I mean, 61, low 61s is going to be huge. Like I said, the 65 could be next. If we zoom out here a little bit, there are definitely a couple good things here. I just want to show you first the weekly here. So Nightshade, shout out to Nightshade for this. He was pointing out in the Discord, he's had some good trades in our Discord too. He's an analyst in there. If you join, you know, this is going to be a hidden bull div right here. And this could be the catalyst to start kind of the second half of this bull run and, you know, generally repeat something of this nature, maybe up to, I don't know if we're going up to 160K, but, you know, something of this nature into sometime next year for new highs following that 4-year cycle. Absolutely following that 4-year cycle. That's a good sign right here. You know, overall, when you got any anchor wave, trigger wave, any type of green dot generally below the zero line here on the weekly, you're going to be, it's better to bet on the bullish environment. That confirms in what, 5 days, I think? Come on, why isn't this loading? That's a little unfortunate. Sorry about that. Let's see, okay, yeah, so there we go right now. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking at there. I think we got more in our game here. In terms of real short-term time frames, we'll end on that for Bitcoin. Money flow still looking good. I think, you know, that those big liquidation points, mid-high 61s is very, very likely. Moving on to Ethereum right now, that same situation, you know, that 6-hour looks good, trigger wave. There's one forming on the 8-hour as well here. And if we look at that trigger wave forming on the 8-hour, potentially trying to jump up just a little bit more here. Same thing, you know, money flow is not the best on the daily. I'm just looking at some of these larger, you know, time frames at the moment. But you do have these bull divs. Your money flow is not bad here on the four day. I think we might be able to keep going up. I like that 5-day too, that nice anchor wave. A lot of good stuff brewing. A lot of good stuff brewing, potentially coming up higher to that 4,800, getting up to maybe new all-time highs. New all-time highs sometime early next year, maybe even later this year. More likely sometime next year, but yeah. So I think we got something in the tank. We got some stuff brewing here. And if you look at ETH versus Bitcoin, it's you know, kind of still in a depressing free fall, but that 50 basis point cut may really give us what we need here, potentially giving us a bull div on that 2-week with the money flow coming up. The last one didn't really work out there, but yeah, it depends where this green dot populates here in the monthly, but you may get a bull div on the monthly too, and I think that would be a nice done deal for ETH potentially bottoming out against Bitcoin here. So that's what I'm looking at. Could come down. I mean, maybe it's just a 25 basis point cut. Maybe we get a hard landing. Maybe things, you know, get more aggressive. We come down to 0.03 or something on the, you know, ETH Bitcoin evaluation. We'll see. We'll absolutely have to see what happens, but I'm generally pretty optimistic on this evaluation right now. I think we're going to turn around relatively soon. You know, Bitcoin dominance is jumping up. You know, we're in that, you know, upside in Bitcoin dominance, obviously still outperforming a lot of the altcoins. But once you see, depending on what you see Powell say tomorrow, that could turn things around a little bit. We're approaching that big area, you know, 59, 60%. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get there. We'll see if we can get close to there. But, you know, I think you may turn around with this a little bit. But maybe on the next monthly red dot, and then start kind of some altcoin, you know, start some altcoin action. I wanted to look at AVAX because that's one that I've been along on, as you guys seen, and I do like AVAX quite a bit. You know, fundamentally, you know, potentially jumping up to $30 here, potentially jumping up to $30. You're going to get that trigger wave on a lot of these alts in that 2-week, which I think is good as well here. So yeah. Kind of jumping up with that VWAP. Trigger wave right there on that 6-hour. I think that's going to be big. We just got to break through 25 and then 27, then 30 should be absolutely in the cards here. And then we should definitely look at Solana. You know, it's a big powerhouse, beautifully jumping off of that spider line right there, potentially getting back up to 139. You know, the same thing that we've been looking at on Bitcoin, Ethereum. Trigger wave right there. And then I believe that, okay, 2-week is a little bit different than a few of the other altcoins, but that kind of trigger wave that could form here on the weekly, and then that same from back here, you would get a hidden bull div on that weekly, potentially propelling us forward to, I mean, who knows, maybe somewhere in the 600s by the end of next year. I could see September 25, $600 Solana, maybe, absolutely possible here. So yeah, ultimately, some things are looking pretty good at the moment. S&P 500, this is where it gets a little weird. Like, it's like, will Powell cut? This is at an all-time high. just made a new all-time high today, right now, I believe. You know, this making a new all-time high, will Powell cut a full 50 basis points with this at a new all-time high? I don't know. That's where it gets interesting. I don't know. Tough to say. Maybe he will. You know, that's kind of the new Fed. You know, we just pray, you know, until we create our soft landing or whatever. It looks like it can keep going. I think the S&P 500 could keep going up to, you know, 575. Where would Bitcoin go if S&P 500 goes up to 575? Probably at least 65K, maybe 68K. Those are things that we're looking at right now. If we look at, you know, treasuries right now, you know, the 30-year coming up a little bit, but generally still kind of in that, you know, making that lower low from December, which is really indicative of potentially dumping down a bit more here. So, you know, I can't imagine the Fed sounding extremely hawkish. I can't imagine Powell sounding extremely hawkish. And, you know, last thing, we could look at some inflation metrics. Oil keeps going down. Like, well, okay, it's coming up a little bit right now, but, you know, from Thursday, you know, if you zoom out on some of these charts, generally pretty down. So that's what we're kind of looking at here, potentially coming down a bit for commodities, doing what we need to do to trigger more rate cuts, to trigger more liquidity entering the system, and hopefully, you know, bringing altcoins up a lot, And if we just look at this right now, yeah, 60, okay, a little bit of volatility here. Wow, that is some volatility. That is some real volatility. We'll see what happens. You know, bear div right there, and then you came dumping down a little bit, so some serious volatility. I wouldn't get too afraid of this just yet. We'll see what happens. We did confirm that trigger wave here on the 6 hour, which is good. Good thing. All right, guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and check out the links down below for the exchanges, BloFin, Fairdesk, and Bybit down below, as well as the Discord if you guys are interested. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.